It has been decided. The council has spoken, and demonolatry is not girly pop. Shamu, everybody. Hadn't made a video in a little bit. I got a couple of them I gotta get out. I might get one or two of them out tonight. But I want to talk about a principle of working with the grimoires. Grimoire Verum, the Grimoire of Popinarius, Library Yards, all that. The demon summoning, the spirit summoning, the chthonic daemon summoning, whatever you want to call it. There are a lot of you going around, and this isn't a new discussion. This is a discussion that's been going around since 2000's Tumblr about whether or not you use a circle, or sorry, not a circle, whether or not you use the triangle of evocation, the triangle of art, the triangle that the spirit is supposed to stay within. Many of you have come to the decision and used the talking point that you shouldn't use the triangle because a spirit told you they didn't need it, or because it's mean and binds the spirit, or that it's harmful to the spirit, or that it's dominating, and we don't use the dominating stuff. I want to explain to y'all a principle. I'm going to explain it in an analogy here. We're going to call this the finger in the butt principle. Let's say that I invite you to my home. I say, hey, come over, we'll have lunch, we'll have some tea, we can work on some stuff together, we can have a good time, we can play some games. I only have one rule. Don't stick your finger in my butt. Now, generally, someone who doesn't want to stick their finger in my butt will be like, well, yeah, absolutely, that's easy, we can agree upon that. And then we have a wonderful time. You hang out, we talk, we, have our whole fun, and you leave. And it's not a problem. No fingers, no butts. We're good. But then, what if you push back on that? What if you try to tell me, do we really need that to be a rule? You should just trust that I'm not going to do that. Do I really have to agree to it? You know me. You can trust me. I would never do that. I'm not going to agree to something that I shouldn't even have to bring up. You feed that kind of line. Or, that's a mean rule, All I can be left to think, and the only intention you could have with pushing back on that rule, is that you want to put your finger in my butt. And I don't want a finger in my butt, okay? I have boundaries. I have established a boundary. And just like in life, where if people don't want to respect our boundaries, we should not have those people around. Spirits that don't want to respect our boundaries, we shouldn't have them around. Because if you don't have the triangle, if you don't have the rule, then you know what happens? The spirits that want to come to you without the triangle and you remove the triangle, they'll put their finger in your butt. Like, that's it. That's the principle. The only people who don't want to rule about fingers and butts are people who want to stick their fingers there. Any spirit that doesn't want to be stuck in the triangle are spirits who plan on doing nefarious things if they're not stuck. In addition, if that's not enough, we can talk about how the triangle isn't even binding. We're going to double lesson this. In Geosophia, it was pointed out to me today when I was talking about this principle with a friend of mine, that it was reminded of me that in Geosophia, Jake Stratton Kent, R.I.P. the legend, talks about how the triangle is not seen as a binding thing. The triangle would have been symbolic of a volcano, and from summoning from the volcano the infernal forces, the necromantic spirits, the chthonic spirits, the spirits that live below the ground. What is a volcano? A giant hole to the ground. And he talks about how the triangle would have originated as symbolic of the volcano. He tied this to Vulcan, he tied this to a lot of things, did really good work with it. And he says that this is a symbolic region of origin in which to draw the spirit from. With, that's a volcano. That's a kid's volcano drawn right there. And then they come up from the volcano because they're below the earth. So whether you go with Jake's idea, now granted, later on, with the addition of the name of the Tetragrammaton around the triangle and such, this did become more of a boundary maker, a demarcation line, a place to keep them bound, so that they couldn't put their fingers in your butts. And that's the principle. If you learn nothing else from this channel, learn that spirits want to put their fingers in your butts, and you need a way to make sure that they don't do that. Anyways, that's it for this video. May your ancestors bring you the sweetest of portents, and may you have the most wonderful of dreams. Xiao